Ever since getting called up by the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skenes has been the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, and that's not an over-exaggeration. He had 7 no-hit innings yesterday against the Milwaukee Brewers, 11 strikeouts, and his stuff is just nasty. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, the best secondary pitch in baseball, which is the splinter, and this guy looks like he's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer if he can stay healthy. So we'll break that down and much more in this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. What's up, everybody? Welcome into 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. Today we're going to be talking about the marvelous, the ever-exciting Paul Skenes, who has just been making shockwaves with the Pittsburgh Pirates ever since he got called up mid-May. Now, he has been the best pitcher in Major League Baseball since getting the promotion from AAA ball, and we were just wondering when we were going to see him. There were a lot of question marks surrounding him, what his innings limit would be, and the Pirates have pretty much given him full reign to go out there and throw as much as he can. And he reached 99 pitches yesterday. I know he was throwing a no-hitter, and fans wanted to see him continue in that game, but this is the way that modern-day baseball is working. And I'd rather see this guy healthy for the next 15 to 20 years as opposed to pushing it against the Milwaukee Brewers and in the middle of the season and trying to go for that no-hitter. He'll have his fair share of looks at no-hitters and maybe even a perfect game because his control has been really good, and just overall, he's looked fantastic. He's exceeded my expectations, and there were some question marks around him. You know, how well would his fastball play in the major leagues, because it is kind of flat, but he's silenced those critics, and he's been able to go out there and just be the best pitcher in baseball this season, and it's been fantastic to watch. Let's take a look here. Paul Skenes pulled after 7 no-hit innings and 99 pitches, and it doesn't look like he was laboring here, does it? Look, I get it. I really do. But if we're at the point where 120 pitches is out of the question for a horse like this guy, F off. Now, I understand that sentiment. This is an old school Twitter account here, and I love the content that they put out. But at the same time, pitchers, we got to remember, are throwing harder than ever. They're throwing more stress pitches than ever, and they're not coasting through innings. They're not throwing 99 one inning and then they're going out there and throwing 91 just to get some outs and preserve their arm. They're throwing max intensity every single pitch that they're out there, and it's no different with Paul Skenes. He's got probably the most electric arm in the game right now in terms of starting pitchers. And you hate to see any pitchers go down. You just don't want to see that, and especially not with a generational talent like Skenes. So I understand what Derek Shelton and the Pirates' plan is here, and they ended up winning that game, so it didn't cost them. Yes, it would have been great to see Paul Skenes throw a no-hitter and finish the job, but at the same time, you got to think long-term here. The Pirates are not in a playoff spot. They're not a very good team this year, and Skenes is going to be headlining that rotation for the next decade plus. So in order for him to do that, they got to make sure that he stays healthy, and that's the number one priority here. Obviously, the results are great this early on into his career, which we'll take a look at right now. This is it. Paul Skenes' final first half numbers after his 7-inning no-hit, 11 strikeout gem today. 66 and a third innings, 48 hits, 13 walks, 89 strikeouts, only 7 home runs given up, and a 1.9 ERA. His opponent's slash line, 202 batting average, 251 on base, and a 319 slug. This is the one that stands out to me here. The average fastball velocity, 99.1 miles per hour. So that just shows you how consistent the max effort pitches are from Paul Skenes. And the other screenshot that I want to show you, I mentioned in the intro here, his secondary pitch, his splinter, is arguably the best secondary pitch in baseball. It's got a 13 run value on it. So players are just not doing any damage on it, and he's throwing it 31% of the time, which is a significant amount for a split finger pitch. And that's another pitch that causes a lot of stress on your nervous system. It causes a lot of stress on the nerves in your elbow. So the fact that he's throwing it that often and he's staying healthy, I think the Pirates really want to be careful, and they want to make sure that he's just taken all the necessary precautions to stay in that lineup and be able to pitch every fifth day. And you just see how valuable that pitch truly is. It's fantastic. It's nasty. I wish I had a video to show you guys right now, but I don't want to get flagged for any copyright infringements here. But Paul Skenes is legit. He's legit. He's answered all of the question marks that were surrounding him. Would he be able to step in and have an immediate impact? Yes. Would he be able to be one of the best pitchers in baseball right away? Yes. And he reminds me a lot of Steven Strasburg in his early days. Both number one overall picks, both following similar trajectories. But what happened with Strasburg? His arm started to flail, and his arm just wasn't able to handle those max intensity pitches, and that's because of a lot of workload that he had earlier in his career. He was the horse for that Washington Nationals rotation for the majority of his tenure over there, and he won a World Series. He finished the job for them, and I'm sure the Nats were really happy with the way that pick panned out for them. But he's in his 30s now, and he's no longer playing baseball. He's done. So I don't think the Pirates want that same thing to happen with Paul Skenes. They're going to take it easy here. I don't expect him to be a guy who eclipses 220 innings in a season. I just don't think that's realistic. But what I can see is him winning multiple Cy Youngs, throwing 180 innings, and being able to handle that kind of workload. He's got a great frame. He's got a very repeatable delivery, but it's a violent delivery. And that's the thing that scares me the most here. And let's take a look at this stat. Paul Skenes is only the fourth pitcher since 1893 to record 0 hits and 10 strikeouts in multiple outings in a single season. And keep in mind, he's doing this in his rookie season and not even being called up at the start of the year. So that's how impressive he has truly been, and it's been great to watch. He's so much fun. He's must-watch TV every fifth day. Even though the Pirates aren't must-watch TV, you want to tune in and catch the half of the inning in which Paul Skenes is throwing and just painting the corners with his immaculate fastball and his nasty splinker that opponents just have no chance on. But Paul Skenes starting the All-Star game as well, so that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to have a lot more eyes on him than he usually does. I've caught the majority of his starts, and he's just been as good as advertised thus far. He's winning in life. He's winning in life, quite frankly. So it's been great to see. Hopefully he can keep this up. Hopefully he can have a long career in which he is dominant from start to finish. And if he stays healthy, I don't see why that can't be the case. So that'll wrap it up for this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Thank you guys so much for making it this far. I appreciate all the support. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Give us your thoughts on what you've seen out of Paul Skenes this season, and are you going to be tuning into his next start, which will be the All-Star game in Texas. But thank you guys so much for making it this far. Appreciate it. Shout out to Baseball Town as well for being a huge supporter of this channel. Would not be possible without them. So check out baseballtown.ca for all the equipment that you need for the baseball or the softball season, whether it's batting gloves, fielding gloves, cleats, bats, got everything that you need. Check out baseballtown.ca, and we will see you next week.